back. Well, we have Stuart here from Advanced Ear Care. See, I got your name right.
Hey,
Stuart
thank you,
Spencer,
Lisa.
Spencer
Yeah.
Stuart. I know people go back and forth, don't
That's
they?
right. As long as they're saying it one way or the other, I'm really happy.
Doesn't matter for us now.
That's right.
So, you know, we have been talking for years about our
Yes.
hearing, and there's been an amazing amount of changes that have gone on with, gosh, technology. And then we have over the counter and we have insurance things. So it's been a lot of, I think, positivity that's been happening in the hearing industry. However, it doesn't change our bodies, right? I mean, we still have hearing loss, we still have, so that doesn't seem to be changing, but the technology seems to be changing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things change, you know, and you're right. You know, some of it's with, you know, how people are getting assistance, you know, with their hearing aids. I mean, there was nothing more aggravating 35 years ago than somebody coming in and say, well, does my insurance cover it?
Yeah.
And it was like, no, every time.
Right.
No, 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 no. You know, now we have such a variety of insurance programs. We're affiliated with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, it's so helpful, you know, and for the patients as well as for us to be able to accommodate some of that financial burden and help them with hearing and technology. I mean, wow, you know, you know, how amazing is that? I mean, you know, we say technology. I mean, really, it's just the fundamental of how somebody's able to perform while they're wearing hearing aids.
Yeah.
And, you know, now they're more comfortable, they're more confident, they're hearing better, you know, it's easier to adapt. Just so many things that are very positive. So a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it's been crazy. So let's talk a little bit about some things that happen to us. I mean, we stress our bodies out a lot, and there's something called auditory fatigue, which is just another thing that's stressing your body out.
That's right. You know, so what I've learned, you know, over so many years is people only know the way they hear. They don't know the way they should be hearing until they hear that much better.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I see a lot of people just in social situations, you know, leaning in, you know, asking people to repeat, you know, struggling, you know, what was that? What was that? Who's going to talk next? And I mean, it's brain activity, right? I mean, they're really stressing out,
Right.
you know, or they're feeling isolated, like they can't engage, and that's stressful, you know, or embarrassed, you know, and so they go through a day, take a wedding reception, for example, you know, everybody's joyful, everybody's talking to each other, and, you know, at the end of the day, these people are wiped out,
Yeah.
you know, because they're struggling so much to hear and trying to understand everything the best they can. So, you know, obviously, you know, stimulating that hearing for them and helping them, you know, to get the sound in the proper way and helping them to just reduce all of that auditory fatigue so they can just carry on a conversation really just helps the whole mental health and just helps people not to be so stressed out and go through that type of process.
Well, it sounds so simple, right? I mean, wouldn't it be great if all the other things were taken care of that easily?
Yeah, indeed.
That would be wonderful. Now, of course, as always, when you are experiencing this or you have a hearing loss, you know, don't be afraid to go in and get checked.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So here's the thing about hearing loss, right? You know, it's invisible, you know, it's painless, and it's really gradual. So everybody thinks they have normal hearing, you know, even if they have quite a bit of hearing loss. That's the only way they know. You know, that's just the way it is.
Right.
So then we show them the difference. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, I should have done this a long time ago. You know, the average person, they say, waits from 7 to 10 years after they first recognize they have loss to when they really do something about it. I mean, you know, then they do it. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. So, you know, there's really a good reason, you know, to have your hearing checked. And so what we've started is an initiative now through the end of the year where we're just going to test everybody. You know, we'll test, you know, the children that bring them in, we'll test their caregivers, you know, hey, we'll test the UPS guy, you know, just to see if we can get a baseline hearing test.
Yeah.
Because we want to see where everybody's at.
Right.
Hand them their test results so they know that they, you know, where they're at and they have that as a baseline. Hopefully, you know, most of those people have normal hearing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you don't have to have bad hearing to come in, you know, and I think that's what people are waiting like until, you know, it's like people's lips moving and no sound coming out, you know, that's deafness, you know, we don't want to wait that long, you know, then that's auditory deprivation, you know, you're not stimulating that hearing. So we want people to come in, find out where they're at, find out what the solution is. They can make their own choice as to whether they, you know, get help or even need help. You know, so it's going to be a big deal.
Oftentimes I talk to people and they're like, I don't need a hearing aid.
Yeah, of
But
course.
you do need a hearing aid.
That's
you
right.
do need to get your ears checked. How do you convince people?
Well, here's the thing, you know, people, you know, I tell people, you're not deaf. You've got a lot of good hearing left. You know, so it's not like that person's lips moving and no sound coming out. You don't ever want to wait to that point.
Right.
You know, you're at a point where you struggle a little bit, maybe here or there, but you know, typically it's really hard for somebody to self-evaluate that. Usually it's the spouse, right? Or the child, you know, that says, Mom, you know, you're not really hearing well. Dad, you need to get your hearing checked, because they only know the way they hear, not the way they should be hearing.
Right.
And then when that happens, it's like, wow, you know, it's really a great transition for them as well.
Right. Well, I know you've talked about many clients that you have helped, and they just go, oh my gosh, you know, they can't believe how wonderful it is, which is
exactly,
wonderful.
especially today, you know, where these hearing systems, you know, are basically where they can just put them on and wear them and hear better. These engineers are figuring out these algorithms,
Right.
you know, where, you know, what's the algorithm for speech and noise and speech in noise and machine noise and wind noise. And I mean, you know, these hearing aids are looking at the soundscape, something ridiculous, like 20,000 times a second, while the hearing aids talk to each other, right? And then reducing noise, then amplifying in conjunction with their own personal hearing loss.
Right.
You know, so I mean, it's like, wow.
Well, it's scary, and I was going to say maybe you're going to have to become a surgeon someday, because pretty soon you'll be implanting hearing aids into our ears or right behind them, something crazy like that. So Crone Hearing Aid Office has been closed, and you guys are now taking the patients.
Right. So, you know, we purchased their, you know, assets and, you know, all their client files. And so they were going out of business, and she wanted to go help take care of her mother. And so, you know, we just, you know, made a business deal with them. So now we have all those patient files, warranties, hearing tests, you know, the type of hearing aids they have, all the information they need. You know, they can come right in, and, you know, we'll pick them up and help them. And a lot of people don't know, you know, they wait a long time to go over there, then they're not there, and it's like, hey, where'd they go? So we just wanted to say that again. You know, Crone Hearing Aids is now at Advanced Ear Care, and we'll take care of everybody just the way we do everybody else.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the information.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
And if you want more information, you can always get in touch with Advanced Ear Care by going to their website at advancedearcare.com or call them at 949-354-0040. And we'll be right back.